Welcome to Sublimation Studies. My name is Jane. Today I will be showing you how to set up a custom sublimation profile printer for your inks and printer. I did film this video about 2 years ago, and the intro had some music playing in the background, and I never posted it because it wasn't of the quality that I wanted to. So I'm refilming the intro today and posting it because it is one of my most popular blog posts, and I know that sometimes the video can be a little more detail oriented. Since I filmed the video, they have come out with a new profiling device. This is the i1 Studio. I actually used this recently and it worked really well. If you're interested in that, I thought it was a little more intuitive than the Color Munki, but again, both will work. Another device is the Spider Print. This one's a little more economical, but I had a lot harder time using that device, and I definitely recommend the i1 Studio as a number one. It is a little pricey, so I will link everything below so you guys can check them out for yourself and decide what's best for your budget. Now let's talk about everything that we need to make our own printer profile. The first thing you're going to need is a profiling device. So in the video, I'll be using a Color Munki. Sublimation paper. I'll be using the text print paper designed for Epson printers. You will want some cover paper. I use butcher paper, and I will link the holder below because I really love it. Spray adhesive to make sure that your design doesn't move while you're pressing it. Fabric or whatever substrate you're going to be using to make the printer profile. A heat press. And last but not least, a printer and sublimation ink. Now that we have everything, let's head over to our computer and download the software that's needed. So I just went to their website, I found the item that I'm doing. I'm downloading the software. Obviously. So I just had to restart my computer because it asks after you download the. So I'm just going to go in here, open it up, and it's pretty self-explanatory once you get in there. I want to profile my printer. Choose printer. Obviously I want to create a new profile. Choose my printer. This is the printer. Down here I'm going to put in text print DHR. So you're going to do that. You're going to go next. So then it's going to tell you to print this. So this is the important part. However you plan on printing, you need to print the same way every single time. So however you're going to do that, you need to do that now. So if you're going to print from Photoshop, then I recommend importing it to Photoshop and printing it. If you're just going to print, from like Preview, or if you're going to print from Silhouette, if that's where you're designing in, then import the image into Silhouette and then print from there. I typically print from Photoshop or Illustrator, so I'm going to upload them to Photoshop and then go ahead and do it that way. So it's just you just want to make sure you're always consistent. Everything's the same. So in order for me to get this, you can't really see it, but I'll put an arrow in the thing. There's like a bunch of colors that it's going to print. You have to go here, PDF, save as PDF. I'm going to go ahead, open Photoshop. Okay, so I went ahead, imported your image into Photoshop. Want to rotate your image because when you press something, it's obviously you need to be pressing it in reverse. So you're going to want to go to Edit, Transform. Oh. Doesn't matter how you flip it. Okay, awesome. So I've now flipped the design. I've put it in here to print. You want to make sure that all your print settings are what they are normally. So for me, I've gone ahead and changed those settings. Go ahead and print this. Okay, so now you're going to have to hit, because you didn't hit print through this, you're going to I have already printed my target. Hit next. Okay, so after you do that, you're going to need to connect it, as you can see on the screen. So you're going to go ahead and connect it. I've always had really hard times getting them to connect on my other computer, so we'll see how this works. The computer recognizes it, awesome. The software recognizes it. It's saying to turn this thing to here. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to hit calibrate. So as it's being calibrated, it's like lighting up. Okay, so it's been calibrated, and then position to measure, which is like moving this thing back down here. So then you're gonna move that, and it says we're good. Next. Okay, I'm gonna move over to the heat press, and we're gonna get pressing, and then we're gonna scan it in and whatnot. So see you over there. Okay, so I just cut a piece off of that heavier material so that it would be much more easier to manage and to show y'all. Okay, so first you want to turn your temperature up to whatever you're going to be pressing at. So typically 400 is the go-to for sublimation. So you want to turn that up. You want to pre-press this to get all the moisture out and the wrinkles and all that good stuff. So, and you're going to want to adjust your pressure. Get that all good. And then do sides. Grab my print. I'm going to spray it really far, like just very mist it, like this. And should feel some tack to it, but not too much. Sorry, my can's getting low, so I have to, okay. So the purpose of that is so that it doesn't move and so that it doesn't ghost, so that you have the true color of what you're pressing. So you're gonna put that down. It's gonna be sticky, so push it and then just push it and kind of spread it out like that. Then you're gonna want to take protective paper so that you are protecting the whatever. I also don't want to heat press this side of the fabric, even though I cut it so that 2 pieces of paper would fit. I don't want to heat press this side because just in case there's any discoloration or anything, I want it to be a fresh print because we have to do this twice. So move that there. I'm gonna set it for 1 minute because that's typically, again, the go-to temperature. I know I can set it up here, but I also do HTV, so heat transfer vinyl. So I typically leave this to like the 11 seconds for that, and then I just have a little like kitchen timer for the 1 minute one. I also like it because if I'm pressing things that are longer than 1 minute, like 4 minutes or something, I can take it with me, clip it on my belt, and then come back, you know, set it for like 10 seconds before it really needs to go so that I can, you know, walk away and not worry. So press that, hit start, and just wait. Take out your protective paper and then peel this up. And you'll notice that there's really not much left on the paper because it's all transferred to the polyester. Okay, so then you're going to go back to your computer. It's a little running around, so here we go, guys. So, since this polyester is white and it is a little bit see-through, I do put some paper under it. So, we are going to, I just put any other white paper that I have. I suggest something that's bigger under it. Okay, so you're going to do that. And then, in the software, it's going to tell you to scan line 1 first, so you're going to do that. You also need to press this button on the side when you're doing it. Learned that the hard way. So here, you're going to, on the screen, you can't really tell because it's off the screen, but I'll have a recording up in the corner, that it's going to ask you to scan the first line. So you're just going to hold the button and go up and release the button, and then it's going to move to the next column in yellow. If it goes red, it flashes red, and then it stays on column 1, then you need to scan it again. Scan it. Do that. The 3rd column. What am I on the 4th column? And then the 5th column. And now it's awesome. Now it's done. So then you're just going to hit next. What it's doing right now is it's taking the chart that we just scanned and taking all kind of the off colors and going, okay, like the green was off, now let's print some greens so we can really see what's wrong, and it's basically generating a second test. So this is one of the reasons why I really liked and bought Color Munki, was because they do the 2 tests. Some people like when they only do the 1 test, because then if they're making a profile for like everything that they print on, then they're losing less waste. But again, I liked this. Okay, so now it clearly, if you're gonna see on the whatever, it has a problem with the browns, which is what I was thinking already when it printed out and when you could look at, obviously the screen isn't exact, but somewhat in the range wasn't exactly right. So if you look here, it's really the browns that had issues. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit print again, continue. You wanna use the same exact settings you did the first time. So open, I'm gonna save it as a PDF again, bring it into Photoshop. Print with all the same settings again. Proceed. Alright, so back at the heat press. Again, we want to mist it and give it a nice stick to it. We're going to put it back on the other side. You can see kind of maybe, I don't know if you can. Right here, there's a line from where I pressed it, so we want to make sure that we're on that side of it, just in case there was any discoloration of the white fabric when we pressed it. Again, new protective paper. And this one's super important that we cover the whole thing, because if we don't, this will leak onto your heat press. So, that there. Again, the minute. Basically, you're repeating everything that we've already done. Okay, so here we go. Again, printed beautifully. So we're gonna go ahead and turn that off. Go back to this printer. We've already scanned. If I can get this in there a little better. Okay, we've already scanned this side, so we're gonna be scanning this side again on the paper. We've printed it, but it's not going to know that we've printed it because we've pulled it through Photoshop or whatever process, you know, if you're doing silhouette, whatever. So then you're just going to hit next. It won't let me continue. Now, hit cancel. Then hit next. Now it's going to have this drying process, and this would be if you were just printing on regular paper and you weren't pressing it. Sublimation doesn't need to dry, so we can just skip that. Hit next. And now we're going to go ahead and scan the colors that are printed. So basically we're going to do the same thing as before. We're going to start down here. It has column 1 in the yellow. And just hold the button and go. And it's liking what it's seeing. Now we're hitting next. And now it's gonna ask the computer, like it's asking me to save a name. So I just save it as the template name. I know what that is. Now it's gonna take a few minutes to do this. Now I will say, some printers and some inks you might not notice a color difference without a color profile until you start printing like very pictured items. So you may not notice when you know, just this color, that color, specific colors, but when you start printing photos, you will really notice the difference in how vibrant the colors are. So it's complete. You're gonna hit next. I don't configure my applications to automatically apply that because I have different ones that I use. And just like that, it's saved. And then if you were to go into Photoshop, File, Print, you can hit Photoshop Manages Colors, and then there will be your color profile. So now every time you print, you're going to want to just hit Printer Profile and print from there, and then keep all your other settings the same. Basically that's it. So it's just printing those two off, pressing them, scanning them, and then the the software really does the hardest part. I personally think, yes, the Color Munki is expensive, that if you're looking to make money and to have, you know, headache free, this is the way to do it, because if you ever have any other problems, you change your ink, or you don't even change your ink, but you get refill, whatever, you have issues, print it out, rescan it, and you can even update the ones that you have in there. So if you, when we went in, it said you want to make a new one or update an existing, you can update it. So if you just print those off, I think it's worth the weight in gold, because of your print quality is everything. So if you're printing crappy, then people are going to think your work's crappy. So I think that, you know, if people say they want a magenta, they want a magenta. They don't want, you know, a different color. So I think it's super important, and I hope this video helped you out.